Live and direct, it's Des. What's going on? It's GamePoint Podcast. It's been a little drought, but we back today. It's so much to talk about, man. How y'all doing?
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's that mouthy mofo off the Midwest. Ted Grams, what's happening?
Pops in the house. Got that contract settled with Ted Grams, as he calls himself.
Hey, I had
That's
to get
what-
that check.
Yeah,
Look,
you
new
know.
people, new money. I had to get that check.
ESPN and Fox was trying to take him away, but he came on back.
I'm black
we
on.
we back on the air.
I'm black on. What's going on, y'all? And it feels so good to be back. I definitely miss talking sports with these guys, and I just going to jump straight, get right into it. I think we got one of the I ain't going to say the flyest matchups, but I love the historical implications of this year's Super Bowl matchup. It's that time of the year, man. It's that big bowl game, the biggest bowl game. And I think it's the biggest sports event of the year for me personally. What y'all think about that? Super Bowl?
Of course, I don't think it's nothing more exciting than the Super Bowl. When the game on the line. I think the NCAA is exciting as far as that. You just get one chance to do it. And NBA, obviously, you got series. Baseball, you got series, but not the Super Bowl, man. You got one chance, man. And
Nothing as big as this one game. Pops, what do you understand that the Super Bowl is the Hakuna Matata, man, the apex of sports competition? Do you understand that?
That's the most hyped,
My
most
goodness.
watched. So it's got some significance. I admire the greatness of Belichick and Grady. Break them two guys down for me, Chris. Let's make those guys
Look, and it was
accomplish what they have accomplished.
I don't think it's words that can really quantify what those two have meant to their era of the game and the sport. And it is true greatness, the definition of greatness. And not even just in football, but in sports, period. I don't think we've seen a more dominant pairing, not even just player and coach, but any two, like maybe Mike and Scotty, like of any two people just pairing together in a team effort, a team sport, and having that dominance. I don't think we've seen any tandem more dominant. Whether we talking about two players, a player and a coach, you just haven't seen it. You just haven't seen it. And it really is. It's something special to behold, man. And I'm so excited for this matchup. The New England Patriots versus the St. Louis Rams.
with the young comparable coaching and quarterback dynamic, I'm interested in where Goff and McVay land. Where their careers take them in the next 15 years, and will they be able to create this same type of excitement?
Hey, listen, they got a long way to go. They got a long way to go, man. We talking about, what is this, his 9th trip to the Super Bowl?
I'm looking for the upset this Sunday. Next Sunday. I think the Rams might get one. I think they left one on the table.
Would you care to make a wager? Because at this point, like we said, man, don't say nothing if you ain't gonna put no money behind it.
I think it's go for dinner next week, man. To be honest, man, I think the Rams is ordering that goat meat, man.
Man, you can forget about it. And I'm telling you, I don't know when y'all boys is gonna get enough of doubting them, man. But don't mess with 12, man. Just don't do it. He on a different level. Don't do it. But man,
so you see him getting the 6th
Hey.
Super Bowl ring.
Cleveland, Bedford, y'all know what's up. If you see me around town and you thinking like this, man, I'm thinking different. Put your money up, man. I'm taking all bets, man. Please don't play with me, man. Come on now. Please don't do it. This man is the GOAT. Do you know what that means? And he the only one. He's undisputed. In his sport, he's undisputed. It's nothing to talk about. You know what I'm saying? You got guys who, even with Jordan, I don't think it's really nothing to talk about. But you hear murmurings. It's a lot of guys, especially here in Cleveland, that have always thought. I know guys that have thought for a long time. I'm talking about in LeBron's first 6-7 years, they felt like LeBron was better than Jordan. I don't know how much of that is hometown hype, but all you got to do is turn on one of these sports shows. Hey, it's a lot of guys who think he better. So, it's nothing to talk about with 12, man. Point blank period. What I thought was most interesting and a greater conversation is what brought us up to this point and what brought us this matchup and how it is that we got here. Some guys came up big. We just got done talking about those guys. LA Rams and the New England Patriots, Super Bowl bound. But now let's talk about the outliers of that matchup and, what they were or were not able to get done to, round out this matchup that we looking at on Super Bowl Sunday. And Phillip Rivers, I'm talking about you, man. I know those guys out there in California, they really feeling some type of way. Well, I don't know. I guess we're in California. I got to be specific. But out there in L.A., rather, I know they a little upset, man. I think he left the city a little high and dry with all the expectation. A lot of hype surrounding his season. And I don't want to say unwarranted, but San Diego is not San Diego, back when they were San Diego, but the Chargers, I always thought he had a solid supporting cast. I kept asking myself, is Joey Bosa that much better coming off an injury? Was Keenan Allen that much better? And obviously he's an extremely dynamic player in this league at the wide receiver position. But what was it that was supposed to be so much different about this year's team? And I thought it was a lot of the hype of the move. Out in L.A. now, this team's going to go because they're in L.A.
I think they had a complete team this year. You just named.
They've always had a complete team. Those guys have been there.
So why haven't they been able to get over the hump? Is it all
Phillip Rivers? Of course, it's a quarterback's league. Okay. Just like he would reap the majority of the benefits and get most of the praise. If it was in fact something different, this is the scenario. It's a quarterback's league, and he's making the type of money and he's got the type of recognition and more importantly, he's got the resume. He does the type of numbers. He should be a guy who can get you there, and he just is not. Once again, and I'm just throwing it out there for guys around the league. When is it time to think about doing something different? And I think, you and I touched on this in the text conversation a few days ago. When you got a guy who is entertaining, and he does have value to the franchise, but he's kind of proven he's not good enough to necessarily take you to the Super Bowl. I mean, in this circumstance, not even the playoffs all the time or consistently for that matter. Mm-hmm. What do you do? When is it that you kind of start drafting in some talent, or you paying a little more attention to the QB prospects?
I think for them, if you're specifically talking about the Chargers this year,
them specifically, but every team in that situation, because it's a lot of them.
Is out there. They didn't draft a quarterback last year, which looks like a mistake. I think you need to get a quarterback in there always. I don't think there's nothing wrong with bringing in quarterback competition. Belichick wasn't scared to do it with a second-round pick a couple years ago. He got his guy in there, and obviously that caused a little bit of drama. He do something, man. You back up away from the mic,
They gonna think Pop's in here asleep.
No, I'm not asleep. I'm listening to y'all break down this football.
I don't know what it is.
Pops, we got that good air on GamePoint Podcast. That good air in here.
But that's the one position that it seems like people don't get a valuable backup at sometimes. You see Ben Roethlisberger.
I'm not even talking about a backup. I'm talking about at what point is a guy not good enough to where you say, okay, paying this guy, like exactly the position that I think Dallas is in right now. You got a guy who you think might be good enough.
But so I don't know where you going with that.
Well, what I'm saying is Dak is good, and I like Dak, but Dak is about to make a lot of money next year. And I think that while I think that his value is being more set by the market. And not even just Dak, but all of these guys, the value is set more by the market. And I get that to a certain extent. But I'm just going to look at a player and flat out and do kind of what Oakland did. They were wrong. Gruden was wrong But sometimes you just got to look at a guy and just on film, look at what he puts on tape and say, this is not a $100 million guy. Period. I don't care what the market says. I'm not gonna give him that much money.
Not everybody has that option though.
You think Zach's?
Everybody has that option.
You think he's gonna get overpaid?
Like most guys, absolutely. Now, but I do understand that a lot of Dak is a younger guy, and this is the difference between him and a guy like Phillip, who is and he's the true guy that I'm putting the indictment out on, but I'm also putting an indictment on the way the business is being done in the NBA and the way you go about team building in the NBA. And the reason why I'm harping on this, gentlemen, is because you see the better teams. If you don't have a perennial franchise guy, and it's only a couple, I'm talking about Tom Brady, I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers. Those are the only guys who are, just franchise guys. There's really no discussion, period. Okay, boom, those guys we know that can go to the Super Bowl. Drew Brees, too. Let me throw Drew Brees in there. These are guys that can take you to the Super Bowl. All right, bam. Those guys can get it done. Russell Wilson. I throw Russ in there.
Nick Foles?
No. No, and I mean, this year's a prime example. Like, no. Like, I'm talking about guys who make deep playoff runs and have been to and won Super Bowls.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking
about.
Say
Cam?
I didn't say Cam because Cam's been to one Super Bowl, and he hasn't necessarily been. Has he been to another NFC Championship game? He has not. Outside of the year he went to the Super Bowl, obviously. He hasn't been to it. I'm talking about guys who make multiple deep runs and have been to multiple Super Bowls and or won multiple Super Bowls, but made multiple deep runs. Shit, maybe I should take Aaron Rodgers off the list. But I'm not, I'm joking. He's somebody that I believe in, even though he's having a rough go of it these last 2-3 years, in my opinion.
Now this wasn't on the list, but I do want to. Does that need to change as far as overpaying these quarterbacks?
Yes, and that's the point I'm making. I'm sorry to cut you off, but just to finish that thought, teams get good by not breaking the bank on the quarterback position, investing that surplus of money throughout the rest of the team, and it literally raises the value of every aspect of your team. Like, and you can see the difference. Like, for instance, Aaron Rodgers, teams that are paying quarterbacks all of this money.
All of them. AR, Garoppolo, Cousins, who else got paid? I think whoever were the 6 highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL, none of them made the playoffs this year. I can't think who they were, but maybe.
There it is. And even if you look at the Patriots, and the Patriots way, if you're wondering how to win, they're the ultimate example. Great example. They've always worked deals and got hometown discounts with Brady. He's been very strategically and masterfully underpaid his entire career, and I think it's all part of Belichick's plan. Even the way he talks to him on a week-to-week basis, treating him like everybody else, treating him like you're just another guy, part of the system.
It's a Kraft plan, to be honest. I mean, Kraft and Belichick, but I just
it's Belichick. Kraft, man, that's it. Did you hear what he said? He loves Tommy like a son, man. He would give Tommy whatever he wanted, check-wise. It's Belichick who's doling the money out and controlling the kitty, because ultimately this is a hard cap league, and he's trying to build a Super Bowl team.
But if Belichick would have had his way, though, Brady wouldn't have been it. Right now, he would have been in a Super Bowl with Brady. He would have.
Yeah, and guess what? Jimmy Garoppolo wouldn't have got all that money either if he was going to play for the Patriots. If he was going to play for the Patriots, he was going to take a pay cut, buddy. You could believe that.
All right, well, let's get back into these playoffs, man. Is there any first-round matchup you want to discuss? The Chargers versus the Ravens, Colts versus the Texans.
First things first, man, I want to give a shout-out to that young boy Lamar Jackson, man, because, he really did do his thing. And I don't know, was I the only one felt like I was looking at the ghost of Colin Kaepernick a little bit out there? And it reminded me of everything that Colin was able to do and still able to do in this league, and made me feel a little guilty about watching the NFL. But I got over that. And, and when I did, I saw a kid who was extremely talented in Lamar Jackson. And I look at these guys and I look at the type of athletes that they're becoming, and football really is. It's starting to look more and more like basketball on turf and in pads almost. the type of athleticism that these guys are able to employ week in and week out.
Now he had an underwhelming performance now in the playoffs. I would say he had a great
rookie, and not to mention that he didn't start the whole year. Mm-hmm. So we talking about a guy who played less than 10 games, right?
Yeah.
Probably something about close to 10, but less than 10 games, and he's in the playoffs. I just thought it was so great for Baltimore to even be there, and I loved it even more that the coaching staff out there, they let him do it. They didn't try to go back to Flacco. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to feel like I thought the pressure was off Philly a little bit because they ended up being able to go back to Nick Foles. They didn't have to watch Carson Wentz go through it and be like, man, I got a guy who's done this. I know he can do it because he just did it for me. It took the pressure off of them because they didn't have that option. But it's tough. It's tough to have that in your back pocket. It's a guy that can win the big games for you, and it's a guy that can take you to the big dance, and you've got him sitting on your bench, and you're trying to let another guy who isn't as proven, who hasn't already done it, you're trying to let him show you that he can get it done. I thought it was big of Baltimore, and I thought they invested a lot this year in letting Lamar kind of rock out and do his thing, and I look forward to play dividends because I hear him talk, man. And I kind of got more familiar with him on his Heisman run and all of that press that those guys get. You do kind of get to know him quite a bit. And I was impressed with him, way he speaks and intellectually. And it's just his dedication to playing the quarterback position. I feel like similar. I heard Cam say a lot of things about, having so many options as an athlete, even in the NFL, different things that people wanted him to do, approaching him about being a running back, approaching him about, just being a different kind of playmaker and contributor to a team, not necessarily maybe a quarterback, but he's just like, no, like I want to throw the ball. I want to be, the team's biggest leader. I want to be the most important guy on the field and for my team, and I want to make the biggest plays and the biggest decisions. And he showed he didn't play great, but he showed that I thought he emerged as a leader for that team, both in his playmaking and kind of like his approach. I think he gave Baltimore something to believe in, where Joe, not so much.
Now, we spoke earlier. You don't feel the same about Deshaun Watson.
I'm not going to say that. I just thought that Deshaun is a guy who I thought, he's had a few years in the league now. I thought he's developing nicely. And he's a guy to me with a really strong team. He plays with a great defense. And people always try to talk about like how sweet the AFC is, like as if the Patriots are just, gliding through the AFC no problem.
I think it's even. I haven't heard that argument. Well, I guess I have heard that argument. But
yeah, I've heard that a lot,
matchup,
and I know
teams on both sides, man. It was
and it's more the division, more so the division that the Patriots are in.
I can say that. Yeah, I would say that.
But I still feel like at times people think that it's not as like for some reason the competition isn't as staunch in the AFC. Why? But I would it's a lot of guys on the AFC kind of on the same level. Why aren't we seeing like all of these young guys meeting Brady in the AFC Championship game? Why is it that Luck stalled and didn't make it to the AFC Championship game? Why is it that Deshaun Watson hasn't wowed us in the playoffs yet, despite having a really strong team? We see a lot of these younger guys, even Phillip Rivers, like, obviously he did.
Patrick Mahomes, man, the hottest team all year. That wasn't the most exciting offense that I saw.
Man, if you didn't see that coming, man, if you didn't see that coming, that's just what Bill does. That's what he did to the young kids. Sure, he was electric. What was it, 28 fourth quarter points, 24 fourth quarter points? Mm-hmm. He was absolutely electric, but it's just not enough. I'm going to let you get your numbers, kid, because I can't stop you from doing that. He's a great talent, and I think that he's the most exciting, and if, looking at the NFL as a business, he is the biggest ticket for this league right now. I think with what he's able to do with Andy Reid and those offensive weapons, man, that's the biggest ticket that the NFL got right now here moving forward. He's must-see TV, Pat Mahomes.
Okay, I think that's a good coverage of the playoffs, man. Let's talk about the championship games. Pops, I know you watched a little bit of NFL this year. You know, trying to gain your knowledge up a little bit, man. Start watching baseball and basketball, man. What did you think of the controversy in the Rams?
Look, that's for the show, right? Because so you can be a greater contributor on the show.
What did you think about the controversy in the Rams versus Saints?
Well, it was clearly a missed call. You're talking about the missed call, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was clearly a missed call. I mean, I don't know what to do about it. I guess you have to live with it. That's all I can say.
Ain't no guess about that.
Yeah, you have to live with it. Referees are human too, and you just gonna have to live with it. But it was clearly a blown call. But I'm in the camp that one call doesn't necessarily blow a game. They had other opportunities, and
yeah, after in fact, I think they call it overtime, and you got the ball first, and you got one of those franchise quarterbacks that I was just making the point that you can get it done for you. I thought Drew Brees came up a little short in this year's NFC Championship matchup.
Hey, I would like to ask this, though, of both of you guys. What do you think of the controversy in Philly with the unnamed sources kind of knocking, not Foles, the other guy, Wentz? Mm-hmm. What did you guys think of that controversy?
I think Foles got a lot of respect in that locker room.
Mm-hmm.
And why wouldn't he? He won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, so
He took him to the Super Bowl, and why wouldn't he? Because he got him on a roll and got him to the playoffs at the end of this year. And and narrowly missed it. Had opportunities to advance. Why wouldn't he? He's still done a lot of things that Nick Foles is yet to do. And I don't care what anyone says. It's not. Nick Foles desperately needs to finish next season healthy.
Wentz.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you think Wentz is feeling himself, carrying himself like a?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You think he got the big head?
And I think probably more than anything, he's trying to exude a lot. He's trying to exude a lot of that energy because the guy behind you won a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He took your team and he won a Super Bowl with him.
Mm-hmm.
So
you didn't come and he might have been playing injured this year, but you wasn't killing this year how you were when y'all went however many games they won the year before with him before he got hurt.
Wentz did heat up though. Wentz caught a rhythm.
No, Wentz this year.
Yeah, I thought he caught a rhythm. He caught a little rhythm this year.
Games, it was nothing like the year before.
Oh no.
They were.
But tis to be expected. Those sophomore slump teams are expecting you. Teams are looking for you. They're game planning for you. They're understanding that your offense is going to open it up for you a little bit more. I think a lot of times these quarterbacks be a little bit ahead of the curve. Offenses open up the game plan a little bit more for them. Let them take a few more shots down the field. Give them a few more opportunities to make some big plays. And I think it catches a lot of defenses sleeping because these guys are rookies.
Yeah. Okay, well, what do they do moving forward? Do they
stick with Wentz?
Stick with Wentz?
I mean, I think you stick with Wentz. But I'm telling you, I would not lose Nick Foles to free agency. I just wouldn't do it. Or if it's not free agency, whatever the circumstance is, I know Philly has a lot of options. I heard they could have an option potentially where they could do some maneuverings and end up being able to franchise tag him for a year, and I think up to twice. That's a great option.
Quarterback though.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because I think he's that valuable, especially at that.
$20 million to your backup quarterback. We were just talking about not paying for your starting quarterback.
Listen, okay.
Now we going to overpay for our backup quarterback?
And here's why you can do it. Because your starting quarterback is on a rookie contract.
No, but you still want to have other players in place, so we're going to have all this.
We already got players in place. We already got players in place, but Wentz is the guy that we know can do it.
If you franchise
I'm sorry, Nick Foles is a guy that we know can do it. Wentz is not. Wentz is a guy that we don't know can play a 16-game season at this point.
So we're going to have the highest paid player on the team be a backup player.
Yes. Yes,
Chris.
And here's why. Here's why. Because he's had to step in in play the last 2 years, and he's headed up. He's spearheaded 2 playoff runs, 1 through the playoffs into the Super Bowl, man. What don't you get? This is not your typical situation. You're acting like this is a typical situation. Get outside the box.
It's not typical, but
it's not. This is a special situation. Absolutely, you are.
Business, it don't make sense. $20 million
either
for Plan B.
Either that or a tremendous offer from someone else for Nick Foles. But I franchise tag him just to keep him on my roster so that I can wheel and deal with him.
If that's the case, get rid of Wentz.
I'm just
it's
saying,
one or the other.
man, I'm not going to I'm done tiptoeing around all the question marks that are so obviously surrounded about Carson Wentz. Not just with his health, you know what I'm saying? Not just with his health, because we all know the best ability is availability. Not just with his health, though, but it's things that he just hasn't done. Like you said, he wasn't a world beater this year. He has, you know, I saw him catch a little rhythm, and I saw him have some moments, and I saw him make some throws, and I saw him even have some games. But I don't think he ascended to that level where he was a young kid kind of looking like a bit of a wizard his rookie year out there, and I don't think he ever ascended quite back to that plateau. And obviously we still gonna need him to go beyond that, because him, like a lot of guys we just got done talking about, franchise guys who are very good in the regular season, i.e. Phillip Rivers, but we've yet to see him make any plays, any throws in the playoffs.
Is Wentz a problem in that locker room going forward?
I think the dilemma, being undecided, is a problem. Now, I don't think Wentz is a problem, because, I mean, anytime, man, when you got competition at the quarterback position, the quarterback is a leader, and we're talking about a guy who's won a Super Bowl here. He took these guys on a run, and he took them to the Super Bowl, and they won it. They won it. They beat Tom Brady and the New England Patriots for it. They won it. This was no slight thing. So and Foles played huge. So no, this is a Super Bowl champion that we're talking about, and not a Trent Dilfer type Super Bowl champion. This is a guy who went out and won it for you.
Is there in your opinion, is there a Wentz camp there and a Foles camp?
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think Philly has danced around that issue for far too long. And I would make it plain, and this is going to be Wentz's 3rd year. You've had 2 years. I would have it in his mind, though, and I know he can feel it, because they said it was some murmurings that he was rushing back. He can feel it. This is an open competition officially now.
So let's wrap this one up. If you had to choose, I want to hear both your opinions. Wentz or Foles moving forward, if you only can have one.
How old is Nick Foles? For me, I need to know how old Nick Foles is. Pops, what are you thinking?
I think you'd have to go with the younger guy, wouldn't you?
Why? If I got a guy in his prime, if you're 28, 29 in your prime, and you can, and I'm in a position with you to potentially go on multiple Super Bowl runs, deep playoff runs, I'd rather have that guy in his prime. If I got a guy 3-4 years of his prime left, I'm going with him.
Who's the better quarterback, Chris?
I think right now, Nick Foles is the better quarterback right now. And even with what the players talked about, like Carson Wentz, really
30 years old. 30
years old. In this league, with the way Foles is playing, I think that you got about, I don't know. I would definitely say 2. I would definitely say he got 2 of his prime, and maybe you see him maybe potentially start to taper off at 33. Potentially, that's still a young guy. We've seen guys do it and continue to be good.
Sounds like you're leaning towards Foles.
Yeah, I think I'm going with Foles, man. He's won a Super Bowl versus a guy who hasn't played a whole 16-game season. Listen, this is a brutal sport, and this guy keeps going under these major surgeries, and he's having, like, big things happen. Like, these are big injuries. And he's not tweaking his ankle out there. Like he's having season-ending catastrophic injuries that is going to take the better part of a year to recover, and then who knows how long after that for you to actually feel like yourself. Like I said, I don't think he ever got 100% to feeling like himself. I don't think he ever woke up any day, particularly during the season.
that Carson Newton stuff was gone. He wasn't trying to be the next scam no more, man. But
One last football question, if I may. Anything to the Sean Payton to Dallas rumors, or is their coach in any trouble?
I'm not gonna lie. I think it's some validity to that, and only because it's so obvious that Drew Brees has dropped off the proverbial cliff that everybody's been predicting and projecting for Tom Brady. Drew Brees has hit it. He hit it, and I mean, he played terrible down the stretch. He played really. I'm gonna go ahead and I feel like it was terrible. With my expectation for Drew Brees and the type of player that he's proven to be in this league and the type of year he was just kind of having, man, he fell off a cliff those last 4 games.
So does
Unc, my boy Unc, old Shay Sharp, man, Unc. Shout out to those good fellas doing Undisputed. He's been making it plain, and he's been putting that out there, making it known, man. Drew Brees had played terrible down the stretch, and he played terrible in the NFC Championship game.
So Peyton is supposed to have interest in the Dallas job, or is Dallas interested in him?
Dallas has got some young talent.
I heard Garrett was safe, though. I thought that was – I'm not going to understand if somebody like Peyton was interested. That may change.
Right, and that's why. Because sometimes, listen, it doesn't matter, how much somebody likes you, man. You could come and you'll be the offensive coordinator or something. Jerry Mike could talk him into that.
Speaking of offensive coordinators, man, it's a different atmosphere around these Cleveland Browns, man. And we had an offensive coordinator, Freddie Kitchens, man, go from
Brownstown, baby.
Go from offensive coordinator to head coach, man. I definitely want to speak about the Browns season, man. Freddie Kitchens, but let's start off with one quarterback controversy that's no longer here. The Browns have a quarterback, and what did you guys think of Baker Mayfield, and what are your expectations of him?
Well, for one, he got me watching the Browns again and being a Browns fan, so I'm excited about the future.
Sunshine fans.
I can't kill y'all about the Browns anymore.
Sunshine fans.
Hey, Chris, but they only won 7 games now. They're not playing in the Super Bowl.
Tell this dude that's not cool, man. got you back watching the Browns.
No, they got me watching back watching the Browns.
And I'm not gonna lie though, I feel like that's the energy around town. That the Browns are back high, and the Browns got something going down. It's Brownstown and something going down. And Baker's the one putting it down. Bake money, baby. And that's what's been going on. And I think we cashed in a major way on his rookie season. I thought he delivered a great deal of momentum and morale. And entertainment. Like Pop said, I think the entertainment value is all the way up. And Baker is, man. He was must-see TV several weeks this year, especially on the winning streak. And I think he's a guy that sky's the limit. But, I mean, like I said, it's important to understand what potential is. It's just that, potential. It's the possibility, the trajectory, the tools, the essentials to get to a higher point and to do something great. But he hasn't done anything great yet. I'm very excited to watch him. I'm very excited.
Whoa. He hasn't done anything great yet. He has turned around a franchise that went 1-32.
Whoa, did we make the playoffs?
No, we didn't. But
did we go to the Super Bowl?
It's a different energy around
Hey,
Cleveland.
I'm not gonna lie, man.
We walking a little different, man. We got a quarterback in town, man. It's something great going on.
I'm a real football fan. I don't know if he did nothing great. I'm a real football fan.
Great going on.
It was a guy named Derek Anderson, man, play here. Some years back.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? About 10 years ago, probably now. And he did a lot of what Baker did, for a few seasons. It never. I think did we make the playoffs one year with DA?
I don't think so.
Okay, well I know we was chomping at the bit, and maybe we got close one year. But to my point, it never materialized too much. And not to kind of compare Baker to DA because when Derek Anderson was here, he had been in the league, and the league kind of knew who he was. He just had an amazing run here, and he's a Heisman Trophy winner, and he's on a totally different level. But I'm just saying, potential is potential, and energy and all of that type of good stuff. It don't. Hey, come on, man. My city of Virgin. It don't take a lot to get her excited.
Hey, Chris, will his cockiness hurt him in the long run? Or?
Not at all. I think that for one, and I'm saying that because I had a certain type of swagger about myself, when I played, and even just in everything that I do, and any pressure that comes with being that type of way, you don't feel it, and you're completely null to it, and you're used to it because you've been who you were your whole life. So you've always put that pressure on yourself. You've always talked that smack, and you've always walked the walk. You know what I'm saying? If you me. Or beg money.
Now I kind of disagree with you. I think on the field, I don't think his confidence or cockiness, whatever you want to call it, is gonna get in the way. But I do think off the field, it can become an issue. Baker doesn't seem like a guy that's gonna walk away from a bad situation. Sometimes, I can see, especially, being in Cleveland, man. Somebody may say something, and you expect a guy just to walk away. Baker's the type of guy, he doesn't rub me as like, all right, man, I'm too big for the situation. He might say something back, and
what makes you say that though? You have to name an instance, rather in college or something. What instance are you talking about, alluding to that part of his character? Because that I don't know that's happened. That's a lot to say. Because Baker walks that line very well. He walks that line well.
So in college, I guess all his incidents were mainly on the field. I mean, he had the police incident, but I mean, that could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
But it just seems like, and on the field it works. But if he's that guy off the field where you going to look a guy, down in the Hugh Jackson thing, in college, he threw the ball at a college player. Obviously, like you said, it's all on the field. But if anything like that happens off the field, a fight takes 2 seconds to happen. And I just don't want him seeing.
I think you're reaching a little bit, Des. I think you're reaching a little bit. And like I said, I just think you're reaching it. You got to let him put himself in that position first. And
is he
everything's been on the field. I think that's where that fire lives ultimately. And you got to remember, this is a gladiators game.
So and when you step into because I don't see
everybody's got another level, man. You serious, man? I rip your head off inside those lines.
Hey, Chris, is he going to be a guy that might be cheap shot at? Somebody's trying to hurt down the line?
I'm not gonna necessarily say that. I don't believe. That's a part of the game. And this is a gladiator sport. For those that don't know, this is a big boy sport. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not for little boys. This is for men. This is for big dogs. And I know sometimes you could get confused watching these games.
Oh, I love the kids' attitude.
Man, this is for real. This is for real stuff. So when you come to the NFL, man, you got to be prepared for that. And I love Baker's approach. I mean, I want a lion out there. I want a lion, and I want a guy who's hunting. I don't want prey. I want a guy who's stalking, and that's Baker Mayfield.
So you alluded to him not doing anything great yet. What was his rookie season grade?
Rookie season grade was an A. Rookie season grade was an A. I thought he did some great numbers, especially for the Browns franchise. He did some great numbers and things like that. But I'm not the type to get caught up in just numbers. I thought that, like you said, it's the way he elevated the franchise, the morale and the belief and the energy that he kind of infused into the city alongside Freddie Kitchens. When Freddie Kitchens was running the show as his offensive coordinator, that's when you really kind of saw Baker put it all together, obviously showing a great deal of potential and ability every week. And but I thought that once Freddie Kitchens kind of took over the reins from Ty Haley, you really saw him come full bloom and blossom into what I feel like a Rookie of the Year campaign. So I'm going to give him an A.
Any reservations about Kitchens getting that job?
But before we move on to that, I want to. The one thing Baker that I am worried about on the field is the interceptions. Now you may say
that's part of it, man.
Gunslinger, and that's who he reminds me of Brett Favre. Now, no knock against Brett Favre.
Okay, so what are we talking about then?
But he does have the record for the most interceptions thrown by a quarterback, and I think Baker's gonna throw a lot of.
Brett has the record.
Yeah, and I think Baker's gonna throw a lot of touchdowns when it's all said and done. But I just hope that he fixed the interception thing.
What you gotta understand,
I don't want him to. That's one record I don't want him to have.
Listen, and I don't think that he will. Baker is a guy. Baker, and he's still young. He's extremely young, and he's high strung, and he's got a great deal of confidence. but he'll be smarter. He's gonna get smarter. He's gonna settle down.
It's a lot of throws though, man. He's one of those. He
he's a
reminds me of
gunslinger,
Brett.
man.
Yeah, like
he's a gunslinger.
I can make any throw. I can make it.
Hey, listen.
If I throw
that's
this
like,
in this,
that's
in
like
this inch of a space, it ain't. And he takes that. And that's what makes him great though.
Exactly. So if you understand that, then you can't mess with that. Period. It's nothing to talk about. That's part of it. Once you decide you want Baker, you've already decided that that's what you want.
Yeah.
That's part of it. Period. And I don't want the fans to get caught up in that because this game, man, it is you got to risk it to get the biscuit.
Now, Pops, you alluded to Freddie Kitchens, and obviously he was the running back coach.
Coach, what up, Coach? What's up, Coach? Coach Freddie, man, welcome to the Cleveland Browns, man. As the head coach, man, we excited to have you, man. The city backing you 100%, man.
Well, that's Chris' point of view, Dad. Any thoughts or anything you want to say about it?
Man, that's the city point of view, man. I got my ear to the streets. That's the city point of view, Freddie, man. Understand that.
Well, Chris, man, since you got a lot to say about
Let
it.
Pop say something. Let Pop say something. Pop said he wanted to speak on this.
Is it the right decision there, Pops?
I don't know. We'll have to see about this.
Put it. Check this out, though, Pops. Let me ask you this because I know that you a newer fan. Like you said, you got back on the bandwagon, and obviously, when we started to win, Freddie Kitchens was the guy who had took over the reins. So, can you speak at all about the difference that you saw just on what you were seeing entertainment-wise and as far as productivity and as far as the plays that were being made out there, the competency of that offense once the change was made to Freddie Kitchens at the OC? Because that's when we really started to win.
Yeah, I was impressed with it, but can he handle the whole ball of wax? That's my question.
And of course, that's the main question for most people because it's something that he hasn't done. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, everybody was new to something at one point.
Oh, absolutely.
But one thing though, I think he showed a great deal of competency with Baker Mayfield. Mm-hmm. And right now, the kid is the franchise right now.
I guess that's my question. Does Freddie Kitchens no longer being able to interact with Baker as much just because he's now in charge of the whole building and not just the offense? Does this affect Baker Mayfield, or does not matter?
It affects them both, but that's what I'm saying. I know a plan has been put in place for, and that's what I'm saying. When you become a head coach, it's about delegating. So, no, you're not going to necessarily be able to deal with me as much. Now, I'm still your head coach, and if I'm Freddie Kitchens, I'm still meeting with Baker, once a week and talking to him and making sure everything's good. But that's why I send, it's almost like a proxy for me. Whoever it is that I hire, that QB coach, that OC, I put him in and he's my right-hand man. And me and him are texting and we're having dialogue and emails and meetings every day, all week. And I know exactly what Baker needs, and I'm making sure that this guy is facilitating that. And Baker's getting back to me, giving me feedback. And this guy's giving me feedback on Baker, and we're all working together to make this go. That's the jump that has to be made. But at least Freddie knows what to give Baker. It's just now about putting together a team and putting together the working parts around both he and Baker so that he's getting the right type of things and he's giving those rookie and sophomore nutrients that you need every week for your brain and for your game plan so that you can get big and strong in this league.
Hey, was this definitely Dorsey's guy?
Oh, yeah. That's what they said. Mm-hmm. That's what they said hands down. Like,
and you believe that?
Dorsey's guy. Come on now. Dorsey hired Hugh. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
No, he didn't hire Hugh.
Who was it that the owner wanted Hugh?
Yeah.
Haslam wanted Hugh.
Dorsey wasn't even here when Hugh was hired.
Oh, right. Pardon me. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. Haslam wanted Hugh. And
you're sure this is Dorsey's guy without question?
No, I take that back. I got the names confused. This is Haslam's guy. But it's Haslam's team. It's Haslam's everything.
You don't think it's Dorsey's guy too?
No.
Why?
No.
Why?
Because of the article that just dropped. If you in Cleveland, you know what's going on. Haslam is hands-on. Hands-on Haslam. Him and his wife. That D. They both. Jimmy and D Haslam, they hands on with their franchise.
Yeah, but didn't you see the quote from Dorsey?
Listen, Dorsey.
Dorsey said, "I got my way."
Okay, let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm. You're not buying that?
Listen, when you work at McDonald's
Mm-hmm.
and your boss is standing over you pushing the Big Mac and telling everybody that the Big Macs is the way to go, the special sauce, the onions, everything. That Big Mac is what's happening. You don't come out your mouth behind him while your boss is standing there and talk about how the Whopper is your favorite. You just don't do it. You say you love Big Macs. Cause that's your boss is right now.
I kind of disagree with you, Chris. I think this might have been Dorsey's guy.
Listen. How long you been at UPS, right? what can Brown do for you? You ever come in talking about how quick FedEx was with your packages? I imagine that you don't.
So you don't think this was Dorsey's guy?
No, not when the owner is been documented and that it's been reported on in depth at this point. I thought you read the article.
I did read the article.
Have you been watching Sports Center? Listen, this guy is hands-on. He gets his way. He has strong ideas about how the franchise should be run and about who should do it. And so the fact that Dorsey is in play lets you know that he's somebody who's going to go along with this guy. Because when you own something, you're looking not for things to necessarily go right. You're looking for things to go your way.
I think you misread that, Chris. You better
I
go
don't
back
know.
and read the article.
Listen,
let's
maybe
move
so.
Let's move on to the next, man.
Okay.
What do y'all believe is the Browns'
But
expectations
let me
for
ask
next
you this,
season?
though, before we move on real quick, though, Pops. You said all that to say what? Let's just say you believe this is Dorsey's guy. What does that mean moving forward for Dorsey?
Do you trust Dorsey?
I do.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a good move. If this is Dorsey's guy, this is the guy Dorsey believed in, then I think this bodes well for the franchise.
So if you trust Dorsey, are we in the playoffs next year?
Well, and hold on. We just said a lot, but let me just say this right here, though. It's a quick hire. So if this doesn't work out, or if it doesn't work out immediately, if there's a learning curve for Freddie Kitchens as a head coach, please understand, everybody, that he was only an offensive coordinator for 8 games, 7 games, 9 games, 8 games. Come on now. So, no, it's a certain amount of risk involved here, and this isn't a home run, and this isn't a slam dunk by any account, and whoever's call it was, if this guy comes on and has a great deal of success, they'll have saw something that nobody else saw.
I would say, though, they showed the old clip back from the Hard Knocks, and I didn't even realize it was Freddie Kitchens, and I think he is a guy, man, that just demands respect and ain't scared to speak up. They showed the one clip when they were in the meeting room, and I remember Todd Haley's point of view, but I know Kitchens was the first one to step up to you, like, hey, man, I don't like this, everybody gets these rest days during the camp, but it was just his way, the way that he comes about football, man, it seems like, man, he is a leader amongst men, it seems like, and he's 44 years of age. He's been doing this for a long time. He has quarterback. He was a quarterback in college.
Hey, man, I understand these coordinators and stuff is getting younger and younger, but 44, man, that's a spring chicken for coaching years, man. What are you talking about? He said he was like he was 64, like. You know what I'm saying?
44.
He's not Norv Turner, dude.
I would expect him to know football about 44. You know
that's
something.
a young coach, Des. Like he in the NFL, so I expect him to know
He was a
something.
quarterback in college. He's been a coach for 20 plus years.
Well, where he played quarterback at Bama, right?
Yeah. He knows the game. I would say.
You think he's ready then?
Yeah. I think he is.
I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think
that's
so.
why I'm not
Browns
gonna say he's not
we'll
ready.
be in the playoffs.
What
in the
I'm
next
gonna
2
say
years.
is this is not a all right. And then wrapping up, cool. You just said what you said, and that may be true. I'm not gonna lie. All I'm saying is I'm asking my city to temper their expectations because this is a guy. Whatever it is that he's gonna do is gonna take him a little bit of time to get it all in order because this is all so new to him. That's all I'm saying, man. Just think about if this was your life, man. In a year's time, you've gone from being, whoever I was, he the quarterback's coach. Who was he before?
The offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
The running backs coach.
Running backs coach. So you go from being a running backs coach, and in a year's time, you a head coach.
You think
this dude's head ain't stopped spinning yet.
I think that's part of life, man. You'll never know what you can do until you're in that situation.
Oh, yeah. I understand that. And guess what? You also don't know who you are either until you get in that position.
Hey.
And if Freddie don't know, we damn sure don't.
He killed the interview. You think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think all of that type of stuff had to happen. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, too, like I said, man, I ain't going to act like I feel like we the type of franchise that just, knows a winner when we see, like, we got to work it out. We're learning. They're learning. We trying to make some things go right. But I believe that he had to do everything right and kill everything.
Is that tonight, Boston and Golden State?
Yeah.
All right, man. I don't want to spend too much time on this next topic. Let's see how it go, man. The rookie of the year in the field. Now, obviously, Baker had a great career. Baker had a great season. Saquon had a big season, and Lamar, out of those three, was the only one to take his team to the playoffs.
He also played the least. I'm not gonna lie though, that's just part of it. Now that's true. He played the least out of those guys. He did the least numbers out of those guys.
Now I can pull the numbers up for y'all. Now Saquon,
he was second in rushing. I know that much. Second to Zeke. But how many games did the Giants win? And that's why it's such a big thing.
11 touchdowns, 1,300 yards on 261 carries. He averaged about 5 yards per carry.
What's the exact on that average, man?
5 yards exact.
Damn.
81.7 a game.
And we not even talk about all the balls he caught.
91 receptions, 721 yards.
How many?
721.
Oh my!
So he accounted for 2,000 yards this year.
Yeah, and he almost caught 100 balls out of the backfield, and he had 261 carries too. Lordy, that's a lot of work.
Lamar had a good season as well. Obviously he played less. 1 second.
Man, let's just be honest, man. This is a 2-horse race. Go ahead and get those numbers, Des. But this is a 2-horse race between Big Money and Saquon Barkley, two tremendous athletes. And both guys did numbers. Both guys tremendous for the franchise. Both guys had franchise-level workloads. Go ahead, Des. Let's hear those numbers.
Lamar started 7 games. He played in all 16. He won 6 of 1 as a starter, 99 completions out of 170 attempts, 1,200 yards passing, 6 touchdowns. But obviously he's just not a passer.
What was that? What's the completion rating for him?
58.2.
58.2. 58.2. How many rush yards?
Rushing, 147 rushes for 695 yards.
Good Lord.
5 touchdowns.
That boy rushed for 700 yards in 7 games. How many rush yards he average a game?
4.7.
That's per carry. How many yards per game?
43.
That's 50 yards of rushing offense from your quarterback.
Baker stats this year. Passing, he started 13 games. Went 6 and 7 as a starter. I guess they had a rough season at first.
What is it? Listen, what do y'all think the Browns did this year? We won 7 games, 7, 8, and 1. We weren't even 500. Like, the tie is what really kind of make it a little bit better. Like, that one tie helps. But we didn't do nothing. We took a whole lot of steps in the right direction. And I understand it's hard not to get excited when you started from the bottom. But wherever here is for us, we not there yet. So just started from the bottom. Not here though.
63.8 completion percentage. 3,725 yards passing. Rookie record 27 touchdowns.
Woo!
14 interceptions. He averaged 266 yards.
And
per
you
game.
hating on Bake. You tried to get on Bake about the inners, man, but he almost 2-1.
It was. Well, yeah, you're right. You're right.
He
2-1.
almost 2-1, man. He a rookie.
I'm just saying.
Think about how much we asked him to throw the ball.
So you going?
Think
Baker.
about from
You going
behind,
Baker,
how much we played from behind.
No doubt in your mind, Baker.
Yeah, for wins alone. How many wins did the Giants get this year? Like 2 or 3, 4?
No, I'm not sure actually. I can find.
We need that. We need those numbers, man. That's the most important thing. But like I said, I think Baker, for one, the Giants, man, Saquon just has so much more to work with. He got so many guys to learn from. He got a Super Bowl. You just come into a Super Bowl franchise, man. The Browns, man, we ain't been good since like the 70s, dude. Like when you try to go talk to a legend, you got to talk to Jim Brown, old ass. Like it's nobody to learn from and teach you how to put the plays down and how to do your thing in this city. Like when as soon as Saquon touchdown, he got a plethora of guys he could go to, show him how to be a leader, show him how to conduct himself, how to conduct the business, show him how to be a face of a franchise. You know, he in commercials with Eli. You know what I'm saying? Everything going good. He got Odell to lean on, show him how to deal with the press and the pressure, show him all the things like what not to do. He got these guys. When Baker touched down in Cleveland, he's the Heisman Trophy winner, and he has no one who's gone through or really knows what it is that he's going through or the positions that he's in that's on site on a daily basis. He doesn't have that.
Giants went 5-11 this year.
5-11, man. So it sounds a whole lot worse than 7-8-1, and in that point blank period, if the numbers cancel out, the things on film cancel out, I feel like Baker gets it on wins alone. At the end of the day, that's
even
what
though
you
Lamar,
go
even though Lamar went 6-1.
Yeah, Lamar went 6-1, but like I said, limited work for Lamar, and I don't think his numbers are quite as big as Saquon and Baker's because of that.
Dad, you agree? We're gonna rookie of the year, Baker.
Yeah, I go with that.
And two, if you look at it, if you just look at the roles that were played, really Lamar Jackson was asked to come in. He is the quarterback, and he has a great deal of influence on the game because of his athleticism. But he was really only asked to make a play here, play there. You know what I'm saying? Saquon, exactly. Saquon, he was a staple of his offense, especially with an L and Eli, especially after Odell got hurt. No, Odell ain't get hurt.
Not this year, not that I know of, but I can double check that.
Double check that. Let me know. But even still, though, then that means he just ascended to a point to where, man, he was just he didn't get hurt. I don't know, but let me just say, even with all the quarterback controversy, then, you know what I'm saying. And then that questionable offensive line, I feel like the Giants always got questions with their offensive line, how they may or may not play on any given Sunday. He became the staple of that offense, the workhorse, and the playmaker that they went to. You know what I'm saying? Outside of Odell. And you could tell that with the 91 catches. You could tell that.
Well, he played in 12 games this year.
All right, so he was out some. He missed a quarter of the season.
Now listen. Now we saying he's gonna be rookie of the year. Obviously, he was the Heisman last year. We got a guy that's the Heisman this year, Kyler Murray. What do you all expect from him? And do you guys agree with his decision to
football or baseball, Pops? Right now, you the baseball guy. You know, are you familiar with this kid, or how familiar are you, and how big of a sensation would he be if he was able to play both?
Oh, that'd be a heck of a thing if he's able to play both. From what I understand, you can make more money. What, with that rookie contract in football? Yeah, depending on how high he was drafted. But as far as longevity,
do you think money is that big of a?
It ain't that Sam Bradford contract no more, man.
They done simmered them rookie contracts down a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They done simmered them down a lot.
He can get paid though.
But do you think it's money? Like, do you think he trying to make what should I do to make the most money? Do you think that's his thought process? Because he seems like a kid.
I think it's impact, man. I think, man.
I think
he played that college game like, ooh, man, football's where it's at, man. I'm the best quarterback in the NFL, or
well, let me tell you, kid, being a Heisman Trophy winner is man, it's light years away from even being the MVP.
Or maybe it's the love for the game. You don't think he loved football?
And that's what
baseball?
I was gonna say, man. He seems like a kid who loves sports.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But believe me, if you committed to a contract for the MLB, you know what I'm saying? If you were drafted to the minors, rather, not necessarily a contract for the MLB. You don't. He clearly loves that game as well. Like,
what game does he love more? You know, obviously you can love, or maybe he thinks he's gonna play both. I mean, Russell wasn't able to do it though, so.
I think Russell was a guy who had so much success early on in his career. That was kind of something. Because Russ still be going to, like, spring training and stuff with the Rangers, I believe.
Pops.
Thought it was the Yankees.
Is he?
Maybe it is the Yankees. I'm not 100%
Maybe
sure.
Maybe it was the Rangers. I thought it was the Yankees, though.
I don't know. Check that out for us, Des. Let us see that. But he had so much success early on. I feel like the franchise really implored Russell, like, hey, you know, we making these deep runs. We got something going with you early. You know, we want to kind of open things up for you, relinquish the reins to you. And bring you along. We really want you to lock in on this football thing. And baseball really did kind of fell to the wayside because obviously Super Bowl rings came, or a Super Bowl ring came, a few Super Bowls.
I don't think he was the prospect either as far as baseball. You know, I don't know how good.
You don't think he was a prospect the level of Kyler Murray?
That level. I don't think he was that kind of level prospect. Because I don't think he was.
So how good is Kyler Murray for the people that may not be as familiar with baseball or Kyler Murray's baseball career? Because at this point, you know, Heisman Trophy winner is what he's a household name for. How good of a prospect is he?
Well, he was drafted in the first round, and they say he's got the tons of speed, but
world-class speed.
Yeah, I don't know if he can hit or not. You know, at the major league level. But it's an interesting conundrum, as they say. You know, the baseball career is longer. I mean, you know, you don't get beat up as much.
So what are the chances that we see this kid play both professionally, in your mind?
I don't know. That's one I'm not sure of. Because who was the last one to do it? Like you said, was it Dion?
I think it was.
Yeah, was it Dion the last one to do it? I mean, to any level of success.
Play both at the same time?
Yeah, play both at the same time.
Yeah,
Dion, yeah.
All right. Well, we kind of just find a way to get on Dion. Chris, man, you excited about this prime 30 for 30, man? You know, what makes you excited? And Pops, I just want you to kind of talk about, you know, watching that actually. You know, this was before our time, but it's going to be good for us to educate ourselves on.
Because Prime, dude, I slept on Prime, man. I slept on Prime. Like, I always heard about Prime and things like that. But I even had got into a discussion with a dude up at my job, just like about the best corner and things like that. And like the guys that I would really watch that I remember being really good, like Champ Bailey, Ty Law, you know, Quinn Jammer, guys like that. You know what I'm saying? Is who I really Darrell Reeves, you know. Like, guys like that, those are the guys that I really saw dominate the game. Nah. Nah, dude, you tripping. Did you hear the names I just said? You're tripping. Come on, man. We talk about Hall of Famers, and you come throwing in the dude that made a Pro Bowl. Like, come on, man. Come on, dude. Come on, man. And then he went and played for the Steelers? Come on, man. We don't rock with this guy. No, I'm just playing. Shout out to Joe, man. He made a few plays, but I don't think he's quite worthy of this conversation.
No, Prime better than all them guys, Chris.
Prime, hey, I'm not gonna lie. I pulled the numbers on this, and I mean, as an athlete and as an entertainer and as all of that stuff, I'm sure. But him and Champ Bailey, man, it was close. It was close. I think Prime still had it, but by the numbers, it was close. Oh my God. Interceptions wise, pull up those numbers. Career interceptions for Prime and Champ Bailey did. But talk about what it was like seeing a guy play two sports at once, because I've never seen that. I wasn't really around to really see that. I mean, the 30 for 30s dropping, and it's about in 24 hours. You know, he had a game for baseball, game for
Well,
football.
at the time, as I remember, it was some controversy about it. Prime was flashy, and what else can I say about it? I remember, I think it was Tim McCarver. Was it? Yeah, Tim McCarver was an announcer at the time, and I guess he had said something about Prime, and Prime ended up in the locker room dumping water on his head. It was a whole bunch of stuff. Because he had said something about Prime, and then Prime got into it with the catcher too on the field. Because I think Prime had, I think he drew like a dollar sign in the sand with his bat, and the catcher got mad at him, talking about he was disrespecting the game. So next thing you know, they had words. So that was Prime.
Oh, Prime liked to show out, huh?
Yeah, and guys didn't like it. Because he was playing football, I think, as I remember, and then was he catching a helicopter or a plane right after the game to go play baseball,
Man.
So that rubbed some guys the wrong way, but heck of an athlete to be able to do it at that level, at that level with that kind of competence. Because he was a Hall of Fame football player, but he's pretty, fast at baseball, real fast, used his speed well. He wasn't a power hitter or anything, but he was a pretty good baseball player too. Before that, the last one to do it, Bo Jackson did it.
Yeah.
And, Bo was a power hitter, and
it seemed like Bo was like more like of a star in both.
Yeah, he was a star in both because he made the All-Star team in baseball.
Yeah, that Bo dude jumped up on the wall, right, and caught that. Well, I know a couple of guys.
Bo did some stuff, man. Oh my God.
You say you don't know Bo, huh?
Yeah, Bo could do it.
All right, yeah, 30 for 30. I'm not sure when it is that drop. Did you got those numbers for us, them prime and champ numbers?
Yeah, I got some numbers for you.
All right, talk to me.
We'll start off with Deion Sanders. Played 188 games. I can't get this years down. What? 10, 5, 12. Played 14 seasons. 53 interceptions. 25. That can't be right.
25 what? Pass deflection, defenses?
Yeah.
That's right.
10
Where you on NFL.com, right?
Pro Football Reference. He
NFL,
forced 19 fumbles.
Damn.
13 fumble recoveries.
Man, go to NFL.com. This dude got 19 forced fumbles. That's serious, man. He a bad dude. He a bad dude.
I always had to. You know what his reputation was, Chris?
What's that?
That he wouldn't tackle anybody.
Oh, word up.
Yeah, that's what they used to always say about him.
But man, he must have been a cold cover dude.
Well, they wouldn't even throw to his side of the field. That's what's amazing about his interceptions.
And that's what I was. That's what I was telling the dude. That's what I was telling the dude.
He'd take away the whole side of a football field because they wouldn't even throw his way.
I was telling the dude up at my job when we were arguing. The point I was making was, it's one thing to shut. That is, you got to be at the top of your game. And this is one thing that I didn't like about Darrelle Revis either. Is you would shut down the whole side of the field, and it's great if they won't throw over there. But the best guy, and to me, this is why I say Champ Bailey from what I saw, and even Ty Law to a certain extent did this very well too. Is they would shut down the whole side, but they were so good they were playing mind games, make you think that a guy was open, and then use that recovery speed to take that ball away. Now I'm so good, I'm doing different things, and I'm allowing your wide receiver to do different things against me, to get angles on me where he could make plays. And I'm so good and on top of him, and my recovery speed and my playmaking and my ball skills are on such another level that I'm coming back and I'm making those plays. I'm making you look foolish. I don't know how many times I saw Champ Bailey let guys look like they open, shading them. Soon as he throw it, boom, he jump it. He all over it. I mean, that's man. To me, that's the essence. First, to be able to shut the side of a field down, and then to be able to make plays against a quarterback, make plays against the offense, you know, allowing them to think things are there that aren't there. To me, that's the second half of it. And Champ Bailey, the guy I saw do the most in that regard that I saw. And if that was the knock on Prime, you know, Champ's got a case too because, man, Champ Bailey was a big hitter at the cornerback position. Big-time hitter.
Yeah, they only got Prime with 39 tackles. And this says he got 0 forced fumbles, and he ended with 53 interceptions.
On NFL.com?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. You can't be going to these fugazi sites while we on the show, man. What's going on?
Champ Bailey, 785 tackles.
Right.
52 interceptions and
Right.
7 forced fumbles.
Right. 53 interceptions for Deion.
Deion had 53 and Champ had 52.
Did you hear the difference in the tackles, though?
785 tackles to
And I
39?
Right. 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 So they must have been right about him. He wouldn't tackle anyone. 2 tackles a year. Like, is that right, man? That can't be right, but I don't know. Maybe that's solo.
Yeah, man.
Hey, but I heard he known for having a clean uniform too. They said he come off the field, he be bragging about how clean his uniform was. Is that true? Is that true?
Yeah, I've heard those stories.
Man. Yeah, so Prime was something else, man. But I don't know. Sound like Champ Bailey might have been a little bit more greasy than Prime. But, I mean, both 2 big-time legends and playmakers are the same. And plus, like I said, I think Prime, man, like I said, I haven't seen him play a whole lot. I had to familiarize myself with some of his highlights on YouTube when I got into the discussion. But he's a household name because of being an icon alone, just off being an icon alone. What's up, man? We on NFL.com, right?
Yeah, and the pass deflections is a lot. It's a big disparity. Champ Bailey had 150, and I'm trying to get Primes now. Let me make sure I'm reading this right.
Mm-hmm. But one thing you got to remember, too, is, man, they just didn't throw the Prime
to him,
side. Like, they just didn't throw the Prime side. And, yeah, too, what, Champ Bailey got...
They only got him at 5 pass deflections.
I don't know. You know, he played back in the day, too, man, probably before
keeping the
stats.
saves.
Before stats was really stats. But how many Super Bowls Champ Bailey got? 1, right? 1 or 2? 1?
1 with who? Which Super Bowl was he on that Denver team? He ain't played that many years, did he?
No, he wasn't on that. I thought he might have got 1 with Elway. Did Elway? Yeah, Elway won some Super Bowls, didn't he?
He played.
I
When
feel
was
like
that?
John Lynch. I just feel like him, John Lynch. Who was the linebacker?
You said Champ?
Yeah. Champ ain't never won a Super Bowl?
If he did the Broncos win in 2013?
Yeah, was he on the roster? No.
He was on. He played his last year was 2013 for the Broncos.
Is that when the Broncos won, though? That ain't when the Broncos won. Broncos won like 4 years ago.
4 years ago, that's almost 2013. I guess 2019. Yeah.
I don't know. Let me look that up and see.
But listen, we talking about these baseball and football guys that one of the best baseball players that I ever seen play that and who I grew up watching was Barry Bonds, and the Hall of Fame inductees just were announced, and he was not on the list again. Dad, does Barry Bonds belong in the Hall of Fame?
He was a Hall of Fame player, but he cheated, Dad. And can't put him in. Sorry.
8 gold gloves.
He could have 30 gold gloves. I can't put him in because he cheated. Him and Roger either. Can't put him in. They cheated.
So are you trying to say there's no cheaters in the Hall of Fame?
No, I'm not saying that.
So why single out these guys?
Well, you got a point there. Because, you know, there was people that said that Pudge cheated. I think he just got in, was it last year? Couple years ago, the first baseman from Houston went in, Bagwell. He had some, some steroids or rumors attached to his name. So, is it fair to keep those
guys
two guys
are getting
out?
in. Guys are getting in
Yeah,
with these
I'm
allegations.
sure.
So why this year with these particular two guys? Is it a no nonsense, no leeway for, performance enhancing situations, allegations?
Hey, it's not fair. It's not fair because if you let guys in that with who have that attached to their reputation or their names, I can understand that point that maybe Barry and Roger should get in, and for that matter of fact, for A-Rod. But me personally, I don't want him in.
Was he not the greatest baseball player you've seen?
Barry?
Yeah.
Nah.
Top three.
Who's better? Who's better than Barry that you saw?
Willie Mays.
Okay.
Was he top 5, top 3 player?
Oh yeah.
And he doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Now you just said top 5, top 3 player doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and not only that,
only because he cheated.
Can baseball afford? What about all the years that he didn't cheat? We'll put it like this: do you concur? Do you agree that Barry came into the league a tremendous athlete who was dominating and making spectacular plays as a young man who probably did not need performance enhancing supplements and or drugs?
No, but hey, that's just my personal feeling. Hey, you.
So you saying you don't agree that he did? You think you're saying that he came into the league needing performance?
No, he didn't need that.
So there was a time when he was making tremendous contributions to the sport without cheating.
Yeah, he probably didn't cheat his whole career. I wouldn't guess he cheated his whole career. No.
What?
It's only when those numbers blew up and he was hitting 73 home runs in a season in his 30s. Come on, man.
He only hit 73 one time.
Yeah, but it was in his late 30s or mid 30s? Come on, who does that? You don't get that strong as
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I remember him being on the cover of ESPN the magazine and drinking milk. No. Man, he was huge.
Mm-hmm.
His arm was huge.
Now, when it so I'm just looking at how many years he played. He ended 1986 to 2007. He wasn't on drugs the whole. I mean, he wasn't on not drugs, but steroids.
Did you hear that career though? 1986 to 2007, Kyler Murray. That's a 21-year career. How much you think Barry grossed over his career? That's a different conversation. But think about it, young fella.
In his last year, his on-base percentage was still 48%.
Yeah, he was a great player, Dave.
I mean, he's a guy that stayed on base, Dad. Now, obviously, he wasn't stealing no bases, but
I've stated my case.
He was a great hitter, Dad.
He was steroid-aided, and that.
I'm still though. You made your opinion, and you've conceded that we've got all these points and arguments, but you still haven't said what it is that really makes you feel the way that you feel, because I understand it's your opinion. We got that part, Pops. Mm-hmm. But why is it that you feel that way? Because I'm saying this is a sport, man, and it's in the DNA of this sport. To me, this doping issue runs so deep in baseball, they really might as well try to call the past, let that lie, and really kind of just focus on the now and the future moving forward. But for all of these legends who've played the game and broke all these records, man, there is no timeline for when the doping started. And a lot of people in baseball say that, man, this was known. This was something that was known and accepted. Man, am I the only one that be, as we tuning in, watching this Golden State-Boston game, slick matchup tonight, Saturday night primetime on ESPN, and am I the only one who be noticing? You notice how much guys travel? Like, even just, like, on the pivot. Like, the shoe just be shuffled. Oh! Jason Tatum just threw down a crazy slam on Draymond.
Hey, man, the NBA straight think they slick, man. The first Saturday with no football. I mean, you got the Pro Bowl tomorrow.
Yeah.
You see how these primetime games got real good.
Yeah, hey, and that's what it's supposed, and that's why I love the NBA, though. They understand entertainment. Just like, oh, no, won't no other major sport play on Christmas? We will. What?
MLK, they had games at 1 o'clock on MLK trying to get that younger generation.
For real. I ain't gonna lie. I really appreciate what they do for MLK, though. I think that's awesome. Yeah. And it's so crazy because, and this is totally off topic, but if you don't think that the NFL is racist, think about how big that the NBA makes MLK Day, and then think about the fact that the NFL does nothing for MLK Day or even Black History Month for that fact. They don't do anything.
Well, the season done.
No cleats. Oh, yeah. Well, you're right. The season is done by February. You're right. But still, though.
Yeah.
They just don't do anything. Nothing.
That's a different discussion for another day. Now we had NBA on the list, man, but I feel like we're gonna get into so much NBA in the future, man. I would want to wrap it up now, but I'll let y'all kind of, you know what I'm saying. Do y'all want to get into this NBA, man? There's a lot of great things going on, but I know we're gonna talk so much NBA over these next couple of months. I thought we covered football.
Well, I
man.
do. I would just like to ask Pops, man, you know, because he feel like he's such a basketball guru. Who is it that you like? Just real quick. Just tell us who you like. Nobody that made any finals or conference finals last year. So nobody who made the finals or conference finals last year. Who do you like?
You mean who do I like to watch play or?
Right. Who do you like to
Lakers,
watch play? Who do you think has a chance to go far? Who you got your eyes on to make some noise in the playoffs? Whose young guys do you like? This basketball. I'm just asking you about basketball in general. Who do you like? Who are you watching? Who you keeping your eyes on? Who you think got some young talent? Who do you think is gonna be able to win? Be a new kind of winner in this year's postseason? You know, just basketball.
Well, I'm gonna keep my eye on the Greek Freaks team. You said
Nobody who made the finals or conference
finals last year, so
finals
I can't mention these two teams playing tonight. But
right. Well, but Boogie, what do you think about Boog? What do you think about how he moving so far?
He's so far so
man,
good.
I thought he looked pretty good, man. I thought he was moving very well, and that's one of the great things about him. Before the injury, is he was a big fella, and man, could he really move? You know, once them dudes start getting but so tall, there's you a basketball player, you can attest, man. You know, they 2 left feet, 2 big 14 left feet.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Boogie not like that, and that looks still to be the case. So, I'm excited for that. Who else? Talk to me about these young guys. How real is Sacramento? I thought Sacramento took some great strides. They didn't simmer down a little bit, but they took some big strides the first 10, 15 games. They were playing good. How good is the Aaron Fox? Let's talk about some guys that guys may not know. We really basketball fans up here. This is GamePoint. Talk to me about the Aaron Fox, man. I like that young kid. I think he's good.
Yeah, he can play a little bit. Exciting second-year player. He's made great strides this year.
Yeah, blinking, you'll miss him, won't you?
Yeah, he's quick. Very fast.
So who's the future of the team, though? Is it Fox or Buddy Hield?
Fox. Buddy Hield a nice scorer, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Buddy Hield a nice scorer. He a nice piece, but I think it's Fox. And Buddy Hield is a dude who is really supposed to be doing this. I remember when he was drafted, they was talking about he was so ready for the NBA. Mm-hmm. I think it took him some time. He had some expectations. Wasn't quite ready to live up to all of them immediately, but over time he has kind of settled into the league nicely. I like him. He's got nice size. He can shoot it, and I think he's a nice, he's got a natural aptitude to score the ball in this league.
Are you cooling off on Donovan Mitchell?
No, not at all. I'm actually heating back up on Donovan Mitchell. But I expected Donovan to struggle, sophomore slump. I'm always expecting that, especially in a game like basketball, where it's only 5 guys on the court and so much attention can be diverted to any one player. I expected Donovan to go through his little woes. But he is back playing great now. Played a great game last night. Mm-hmm. Last night they played good. Did they end up getting that dub against the Nuggets? Was that last night? I be having so many games recorded. I'm not 100% sure if they got the dub, but I know they were up with like 51 seconds left. I think that's when I fell asleep. I think they was up 6. But no, up on Donovan Mitchell. Really liking Donovan Mitchell. And I love this kid, Luka. I wouldn't talk about young guys without talking about Luka Doncic. Shout out, Des, because you kind of got me on him. I was a little bit sleep on him, maybe like I said, them first 10 games. I was seeing him in the highlights, though. I just thought he was, another guy from the Euro ranks who was just a little bit more prepared than everybody else. But no, this kid is special. What do you think about him, Pops?
Yeah, he can play. Luka can play. Somebody compared him to Larry the other day. I don't know who it was.
Bird?
Yeah, one of the
I
national
think
guys
I heard
said,
Chris Broussard say it.
yeah, say he got a little leg, that's going a ways now. I don't know
will
about
say
that.
this: he isn't like a. I mean, he can do some things though. Like I didn't seen him get up and stuff like
I
that.
think he's very skilled. You know, when you see
Exactly.
he's not gonna kill you with his athletics, but I mean, if you see who's one of the best scorers in the league right now, it's Harden, and he's a guy that who's very skilled. And Luka got a lot of skill. He can shoot. He got the step back. He can pass. He can dribble a little bit. You know, obviously got some nice size to him, and the kid can flat out play.
Yeah,
and the thing is, he got a little killer in him, man.
A little. Come on, man. He took over that team. He's taking over that team.
Yeah, in a big way, man. And I
really,
was so impressed with him.
It's
man.
kind of like me too, absolutely. And I think you really said it there. Impressed.
And he looking at and some of his biggest games against some of the best players, man. He want to let Kyrie,
Absolutely.
James, LeBron. He ain't played too well against LeBron, but I guess it's like his idol, which is understandable.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, when it comes to them big matches, man, hey, I'm here, and you just don't expect that from a European player. But you know, I guess Ginobili out, man, and they had somebody ready.
Hey, and that's so crazy because I was just about to say he got the most swag since Ginobili. Like he got the most swag for a Euro guy since Ginobili. Mm-hmm. He really, really do. He came in with he got a lot of swagger to him. Like you say, the way he go about it and the way he goes at guys, he just act like he belongs. So excited for Luka.
And he does belong. And I mean, hey, if the European got some guys like that, man, keep sending them, man.
Come on, man. They keep coming.
Hey, and I ain't gonna lie, I don't like the way that some of these young boys from the college system is coming. I don't know if me and I talked to Pops earlier about. And I hate to say it, man, Colin Sexton, man, it just seems like the feel for the game, man, is good, man. And I think Luka has a great feel for what's going on, how to run an NBA team, how to run the offense, you know. And I see younger guys, man, they just don't understand the speed of the game. They don't understand the teamwork of the game, man. It's just, if you can't get a shot for yourself, how can you get it for somebody else? Luka has a great feel for that, and I don't know if it's the AAU or if colleges and if they need to. Some players don't need to stay more than 1 year in college, but some of these young guards, it's taking them a while. Now,
but one thing you got to know though is when you talk about a guy who doesn't need to stay multiple years, I think it's just like guys coming out of high school to the NBA. Those are special cases. Mm-hmm. The vast majority of these guys need the college game in the worst way. Mm-hmm. They need to develop their skills. I agree. They coming in too raw, and not only that,
more than ever. Though I've never seen this, man. But man, I guess
but it's because back in the day when guys went to college, they were staying. Mm-hmm. They were staying.
I guess you could even say Kyrie didn't have the best feel for the game, but he's just so offensively blessed as far as scoring, you know.
And not only that, but people think Kyrie's career started when LeBron came. Mm-hmm. Kyrie took a lot of lumps before LeBron got here. Like, he took a lot of lumps before LeBron got here and did some things. I remember definitely showed that he was clutch, had hit some game winners and had some games as a young guy. Mm-hmm. Before LeBron.
But he's just a better scorer than some of these other guys. You know?
Oh, yeah. And
naturally.
Like you talk about skills. You talk about somebody who's skilled. Kyrie, top-notch skills. You know, don't expect everybody to have that. Nice move.
Yeah, but I'm excited with
and
some of these young guys. And
I got one more guy I want to bring up since we talking about young guys, and he kind of been on my radar for several years. D-Book. Has D-Book taken a step back? But, you saw him splash. He had the 50-point game and 55-point game.
Yeah, 71, I thought.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Damn, was it that much? It was that much, like 70. He had a 70-point game, and I feel like sometimes you see these crazy scoring performances from him, but I don't know that he's been on a consistent climb.
It's not converting to wins. At the end of the
so
day.
Is he playing great? But is he a guy who's playing as good as anybody? But he's just not on a good team.
I'm not gonna say that. I think he has to.
Because when Sacramento started winning, I know that was early and stuff like that, but. They if the playoffs started today, they would be in, right, Sacramento?
No, they're 10th seed right now.
10th seed? Okay, but that West is everybody's right on top of each other. Mm-hmm. So that's, don't mistake that for them having fallen out of the picture. But Sacramento, if they can win games, like I fully feel like Phoenix should be able to win some games too. And you haven't even seen a stretch like what we saw from Sacramento to start this year off. You've never seen D-Book and Josh Jackson. Because it's a lot of young guys out there. Ayton now, who you were high on, coming in. And he's playing good, right? You loved Ayton.
Did I love Ayton? I don't know.
You
I
loved Ayton.
I don't remember that.
He got it on wax now. you said Ayton was the best guy in the college ranks. That's
I
what
don't
you
know
said.
if that meant I loved it.
Oh, my goodness.
But you got to get these guys. And I know it's a win.
I'm
it's
giving them a
business.
chance, but I'm just saying, hey, now, it's a couple of y'all now.
Especially
y'all
because you know they're getting paid early, so come with it.
It's a couple of y'all guys, man. Y'all done put a few draft picks together.
You spoke highly of D'Angelo Russell. He's a young guy. You think he's figuring it out?
D'Angelo Russell is a young guy who's definitely figuring it out, and he's on a major uptick, and it is converting in the winning column for him. I don't know where Brooklyn would be at. Let's see the standings, Dad. I don't know where exactly it is Brooklyn would be at right now, but I do know that they're winning a few more games. They aren't an easy dub as they have been in the past.
In the East.
6th seed in the East. What's the record?
27-23.
27-23. How they playing at home?
I don't have the
Home
stats,
and away.
They're 8-2 in the last 10.
8-2 in the last 10 though, and if I'm not mistaken, they're killing it in Brooklyn. So this is a young guy who's starting to put it together, man. And when he's got it rolling, he's got a Curry-esque type of way of, that the way he is, very laissez-faire. You know what I'm saying? Not a care in the world beyond that arc. And he can put he's got a nice handle, man. That kid can string the moves together, and he can knock down the jumper off of it. And, rangy too. So keep your eyes on D'Angelo Russell if y'all not. Scary. Scary. Yeah, man, yeah. And I'm going to give Terry some love. Hometown kid just made a big play. And is it just me or does it seem like as soon as somebody get hurt, he just goes straight to work? Yeah. Like straight to work. Had 26 a few nights ago. Man, real player and a starter. I'm so excited for this kid. He's somebody that I can't wait for him to move on from Boston because he's going to have a really bright career. Yeah.
We ain't got to talk about that.
Right.
But, I'm excited about Scary too, man. So, is he going to get a starting position?
Year? Absolutely. Starting position and a whole lot of money.
You said bring him back to Cleveland and start him over Sexton, Pops?
Yep.
I ain't giving up on Colin yet.
Yep.
I ain't
in
giving
a
up
major
on
way,
Colin
yep.
yet. I'm not giving up on Colin Sexton yet.
I ain't gonna lie though, man. I think and I don't know why, I think he would be a great fit with LeBron though, because he's a guy who can handle it. Just throwing this out there, I don't know why I am, but I think that if Lakers do in fact end up having to deal Lonzo Ball, to bring a kid like AD in, I think Terry Rozier, if they could get him, as long as they don't have to pay him too much money, I think he could be a great fit because he can shoot, great catch and shoot guy. And, he can do things. He can slash, off those kickouts, off the up fake and things like that. And he can run a team. You know what I'm saying? When LeBron is out, he could be able to facilitate and run the show. But he's really kind of that, he's got more two in him. But he's an undersized, so he's at the point, and he's obviously a phenomenal defender, which is what, they need that. They're getting that from Lonzo now. I think Terry would be an upgrade in that regard, and then he'd be an upgrade playoff experience-wise. I think Terry just ready to be in a position to come up big, and I think, I don't know, something about him and LeBron. I think certain guards, I'm always looking for guards that will play good with LeBron, be good fits, because I know, in essence, he's a guard himself. Maybe. And I just think Terry is one of those guys who'd be a really good fit.
Is Kyrie headed to L.A. next year?
Hey, I think it's an option. You heard what Kevin Love said. He said Kyrie love to surprise people. He love to catch people slipping. And I'm not going to lie. It's a reason. It's a reason why he said that about apologizing to LeBron. He wanted to let us in on the fact that him and LeBron were on different footing. He wanted to clue us in on the type of relationship that they have currently.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't have to do that because whatever he said to LeBron, whatever understanding it is that they came with and whatever, however it is, he apologized to him and let him know, like, hey, I feel, what you was doing and what you was trying to show me. I didn't get it. I apologize for being the kid that wanted everything at his fingertips. That's for him and LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
You letting us in on that, I don't think he wanted that badly to kind of, I don't think he wanted that badly to kind of like indict his own teammates. Like, I know when it came out, they kind of made it seem like it was such a slight to Jason Tatum and these young guys that he's playing with now out in Boston. But I think more than anything, it's kind of letting people know that, like, because I think it's so obvious that Kyrie's not going to be in Boston. Like, that's obvious to me.
I will say, in closing, that might go down as the worst trade in any sports history, man. We got nothing for what we could have got back for Kyrie and what we did get back for Kyrie. It's so many different things we could have did with that trade, man. It may go down. We have nothing to show for it right now. If Colin doesn't be able to come something, we have nothing to show from that trade. Not one asset.
I ain't gonna lie. If you counting on Sexton to be the one to make it right, man, go ahead and write this one in ink, man, because Buddy don't got it.
I mean, because
don't give up on the kid yet.
Even if we would have had Rozier here, if that instead of IT, and I understand going for IT and how that made sense then, but even if the package would have been Rozier to pick and Jaylen Brown.
I ain't gonna lie, man. Looking back, and I know hindsight is 20/20, but man, if you really look at like what IT was on, especially in that situation, trying to get that money that IT was in, that wasn't a good move. Like if you ever sat down with that kid and talked to him the way he feels about himself, and you have to, like you said, you can't take that away from him because he Mr. Irrelevant. Mm-hmm. He was the last pick of the draft. So for him to come in and even make half as much noise, for him to still be in the league is a great feat because so many of those guys like never even make teams. Mm-hmm. Last pick of the draft. Yeah. And he's legit 5'9". Mm-hmm. And he's an all-star in this league. He's been an all-star. And at one point he was an MVP candidate with Boston. We all remember that. But if you sat down and talked to him, you should have known this kid has way too big of an alpha attitude and mentality. He's not going to mesh well with LeBron James. Mm-hmm. Period. Because off the year he was coming off of, and for the money that he was playing for the year that he came here, how are you not going to put it out there that you the man and try to stand on equal footing with LeBron James? Why wouldn't you? Because guess what? If you do that and you come out and you average 22, 23 points a game and we go to the finals, man, you get paid. Mm-hmm. But you got to have that mentality first.
Well, man. It is what it is, man. I think we're gonna look back and worst trade in NBA history. And
definitely one of the worst. Hey, and in the same breath, I think one of the better when we gonna look back in history and one of the better trades, not maybe the best, but one of the better trades that was so significant to our own success and championship story and run, Dylan Wiggins for K Love. And I know a lot of people still like Wiggins. Man, but Wiggins is a bum. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wiggins is the definition of potential.
Well,
and
what
would he have
done if he would have had LeBron's tutelage? There's no telling what he would have done.
Knock it off. And that's what they say. And guess what they and if Wiggins was like a guy who was supposed to be like, always working hard and chomping at the bit, but they say Wiggins is about his numbers. He doesn't care about winning. He's not fully invested in the game. He wants to get his money. Things like that. Somebody like that, man, listen, the type of pressure LeBron would have been applying to his ass, come on, dude. Crumble.
Well, that's another great scouting report my pops had.
Right.
I don't see Kevin Love in this world beater myself.
Hey, he is a champion, though. Don't forget that part.
Man,
he played with
what's the best ability, man?
Yeah, Kevin Love missed 40 games
that's
a year.
That's the thing I hate about him, man. He ain't never here, man.
Hey, it ain't better. Like I said, Kevin Love, every championship team got a GOAT, man. I mean, and I'm not talking about the greatest of all time. I'm talking about the GOAT, the one that you put the blame on, the scapegoat. Somebody's got to be the weakest link. Somebody's got to be the guy whose fault it is.
Chris, he misses 40 games a year, man. Give me a break.
He also does the dirty work. He also comes outside of himself, Kevin Love completely changed his game to make us a contender and to be compatible with LeBron. And really, man, he gave us some great minutes in a lot of series.
Oh,
he really did. I don't, man. But like I said, I know it's got to be a GOAT. I know it's got to be a GOAT, man. On every team, it's somebody who got to take the blame and got to be the bad guy. And to me, that I just give him more credit. But like I understand more. It at the end of the day, oh my lordy, this guy.
Yeah, Steph. Oh my goodness, got the foul. Man, let's go ahead and wrap this up, man. This is GamePoint Podcast, man. We back.